I'm Adam Niffen.
No, I'm Jeremy Cocaine.
This is Smith Welding Restoration. Nothing to add to that?
Well, it's where we work. It's what we do. We make things pretty.
Okay, I want to take a few minutes here. I did the quick and dirty. I had this pedestal here, and actually had a piece of sheet metal scrap on it. I was using it for when I set my chop saw up on that table. Not chop saw, when I would set it up on that table, I believe it was. Nope, wasn't that. Another toolbox, whatever the hell I had it sitting on to chop shit with. It doesn't matter, I cut that off and I put on a piece of tubing. That was long enough, I just ground the paint off and welded it right to it. This is your 30-inch Harbor Freight sheet metal brake. Let's see here, I got a piece I just dropped down here I'm going to use for, I mean, that's not bad. I should have put 3 clamps on it, one on each end and then one in the middle, and I just had one on each end and I actually broke this out in the middle. I should have went to one side or the other and had 3 clamps on it. It's a pretty clean brake. It's even, there's no dog leg. Oh, minor dog leg maybe, but that's nothing I can't deal with. There's a piece of sheet metal I had laying around. It works for some of the work we're doing there. It's 30 inches brake space. I don't really care for how these are mounted exactly. They seem a little chintzy. But they work. I went ahead and checked this here in the laid position and up, and it's all pretty even. It's pretty beefy built. They put that piece of angle and they put that piece of angle on the inside to stabilize it with some spot welds. I don't think I'm going to be breaking 16 gauge on it, but I may try. They know us up at the Harbor Freight. We get enough stuff there, they pretty much don't ask questions. If I fuck it up, I'll cut these off, grind it, and paint it black again. Take it back looking like nothing ever happened. So that is a Harbor Freight 30-inch. It's a $60 piece of equipment. That's a virtue that I can deal with. I hated biting off. Even $60, but the amount of time I spent fucking with the brake that I had built far superseded any savings. The only thing I could see about this one is possibly shortening the length of material you can break and setting up like mine had the screws and the screw system set up on it. So I may look into it. There's a slight bevel on the piece that you clamp down to make the brakes. So I very well may spin that and set it up in the air and weld 2 bolts or put 2 bolts in with some springs that I can just run a nut down like my old one was. That's really about the only thing I could say to improve this particular unit. And from there you step up to the 48-inch brake, and what are they, $300? And that's still real reasonable for decent sheet metal fabricating gear. With our space issues, that would be the best I could get in this shop. So I kind of want to poke in, say hey, show you this sheet metal brake, see if I can find just a piece of scrap metal and demo this little guy out for you. These are sheet metal piles. And I do try to keep shit organized. That is 18 gauge, if it'll focus. Yeah, that's 18 gauge steel. So we're gonna give this a whirl. See if we can't bend that into 90. So really, I mean, if I can keep from throwing shit on the floor, it's a real simple apparatus. I'll go ahead and get this in here, lay this up on top of there. With that clamp on, it's a bit of a pain. There we go, undo that clamp. And I'm going to suggest, we'll see how it shakes out, sliding it off to one side or the other. I just want like a 1/2 inch edge on this to see how that works. If I were doing this for a project, I'd go ahead and break out the tape measure and check it, but it's not. And these clamps here are mine from the shop. They did not come with the apparatus. But for 60 bucks, what are you going to ask for? I'm going to ask for something just to make breaks. I don't have a tripod set up, so I'm one-handed Willie. And also, so long as the frame doesn't twist or tweak on me, we should be in good shape. I've got it actually pulled right to the braking line. And then from there, what I want to do, I think, is pull this guy in the middle. Actually, probably more so off to the edge of the piece we're going to break. What's it going to give me? Is it going to do it nice and even? It looks pretty even so far. This actually breaks just beyond 90. Let's see what we've got. Let's see what fruits we reap. They looked the same. Looks like a what, an 1/8 inch radius. I don't think you can complain about that. And that's pretty thick. That's thicker than what you're going to use on most cars. That's 18 gauge. Most cars are 23 gauge or 20 gauge even. This is 20 or 23 gauge. This I think is 20. So that's not bad. So long as you're not working on something from the 40s or 50s, you should be just fine. I'm not mad at it. That coupled with shrinker stretcher and hammer and dolly work. Another thing I've added to my collection is when I built the truss jib, I had sections of this 3x6 tubing. Yeah. 3x6 tubing by 1/4 inch wall, or that's a 3/16 wall, I believe. I love this for when I'm sitting here. You can see I got my tools spread out around me. Usually I got them kind of lined up a little better. I've been walking through here and not very organized, but you know, with the Frankenstein to get all the steel replaced I got to do, this allows me to test fit a piece, beat on it with, you know, various implements of destruction and get it in place without ever getting up and going to a table. So this little guy, and I'll flip it up this way, I'll roll it over, I'll lay it on its side. It's so very versatile, and having the ends open actually is very handy too, because I've got a compound bend where it's got to come back in on itself. I can drop a piece down in here if it's short enough pieces, but I can't cry. So there's kind of a little bit of walk around with the Metal Fab equipment, our new tool, the Harbor Freight 30-inch brake. Would I recommend this? For $60, damn straight. 30 inches, I'm not going to work with a lot of pieces bigger than that. And if I do, well, you can take metal and end to end, you know, you can butt metal end to end, weld that fucker, and grind it down, and it never had a break in it. So, oh well. Like I said, that's the second piece of steel I've bent on that, and satisfied so far. How's that for you? Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Thanks for checking in. Come back on the next one. See what the hell we're doing next time. Subscribe, comment. Find us over on the Facebook, Smith Welding Restoration LLC on Facebook. Numbers at the beginning. Have any questions? Call.